The ongoing renovation at the National Assembly has made it difficult for the House of Representatives to hold plenary. After the Easter break, when the Senate resumed plenary, the House of Reps members did not sit, and it is unclear when they will resume plenary. Joining me now is a member of the House of Representatives, Honourable Wale Raji, representing Ekpe Federal Constituency in Lagos State, and he is the Chairman House Services Committee. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
Why didn't the House of Reps resume on the 26th as planned?
As you are aware, the renovation works have started, at the National Assembly. The building of the National Assembly is currently undergoing renovation. And it's public knowledge that the building, housing the two chambers, is long overdue for renovation, because since 1999 that the building was constructed, it has not seen any major renovation. Leading to the embarrassing situation we experienced during the last rainy season, when we had the roof leaking, So the contract for the renovation, general renovation of the building has been awarded by the Federal Executive Council. It's being handled by the FCDA on behalf of the National Assembly. And the renovation will include the redesign and the restructuring of the chambers, the two chambers. The present sitting arrangement is not too conducive for our legislative work. So therefore, the chambers, the two chambers of both the Senate and the House, will be restructured. So the contractors have already moved in, and that necessitated, the deferment of our resumption date to allow for the conversion of two conference rooms in the House to be used as temporary chamber for the House of Reps, and another big conference room for the Senate.
But the Senate did sit in the course of the week.
Yes, but you also notice that they did not sit the first day that they're supposed to resume, because we lost a member, and it's the tradition that when you lose a member of either of the two chambers, we do not sit in memory of such of the deceased, so that necessitated our not sitting, on that day.
There is outrage over the money budgeted for the renovation. People say the 37 billion naira earmarked is rather outrageous.
Well, I'm not in a position to give details about the costing, because the contract is not being managed by the National Assembly. As you are aware, the building is owned by FCDA. So we are more or less like tenants in the using the building, so the renovation is being handled by FCDA.
But we're yet to see any rehabilitation work commence on the complex.
I'm aware that the contractors have started moving in, and as you are aware, a big contract like this, preliminary works, they've started their preliminary works, So I'm sure very soon you will see them in in full swing.
As the chairman of the House Services Committee, how feasible is the 16 months projection for the completion of the rehabilitation work?
Well, I'm sure that I know that they are working on the roofs. I mean, the roof of the chambers, of the two chambers, and they are also working on the other parts of the building, and in particular the chambers. You know, they are reconfiguring, you know, the sitting arrangements in the two chambers. You know, I mean, as you are aware, the present design is not too conducive, you know, for our to carry out our legislative work, you know. So, but the full details, like I told you, we are not involved in the management of the contract, the award of the contract, the costing and other details, you know, were done by the FCDA. So I will advise that you meet the officials at the FCDA.
This will certainly cause a whole lot of inconvenience for legislators. How are you adapting?
Well, definitely it's part of the sacrifice we have to make during the period of the renovation, you know. So, but already two conference rooms have been identified, and they will be converted to the temporary chambers.
So when do we see members resume plenary?
As soon as possible, as soon as the conversion of the conference room to a temporary chamber is completed, which will not take too long, because we are conscious of our responsibility to Nigerians to perform our legislative functions. But let me also add that it's just plenary that is affected, you know, so other committee assignments are still ongoing.
The House lost one of its members during the Easter break. Tell us more about the man, Inse Ekpeyo.
Well, it's most unfortunate that we lost Honourable Ekpeyo from Cross River State. Ekpeyo was a very quiet person and very friendly, you know, very friendly. He related very well with everybody, you know, during his lifetime. It's so unfortunate that we lost him, and at such a relatively young age. I think he was about 58 or thereabout, you know. So may so rest in peace. I commiserate with members of his immediate family and the people, the government and people of Cross River State. You know, we are going to miss him a lot, you know. He was such a gentleman.
But the tradition of the parliament has not been observed in the House by adjourning in honor of the dead.
Yeah, because the day we were supposed to resume, you know, we did not resume on that day. And as you may be aware, that tradition has been observed in the Senate.
Your party is getting knocks over the high cost of nomination and expression of interest forms.
Well, the fees were fixed or determined by the party, the leadership of the party. I think the leadership of the party, you know, is in better position to comment on that, you know. But as a member of the party and a loyal and a committed member, I reserve my opinion about it. So I will advise that.
Are you not worried that this will exclude those that cannot afford it?
Well, like I told you, I think it's better that you direct the question to the leadership of the party.
Aspirants are now rushing to obtain the forms. Have you also obtained yours?
Well, definitely within the limit of our ability, we have performed well, and given the feedback that we receive from my constituents, we will be participating in the next primary to elect the candidate for my constituency, and we are very hopeful, and because we have unfinished business, there are projects that we are currently handling that we need to remain in the house to complete, so that they do not become abandoned projects. They are projects that are beneficial, to my constituency. School projects, economic development projects, grassroots economic development projects like markets and whatever. So some of them the construction of some of them are about to start. And it's for this reason that I've been encouraged by the leadership of the party, the community leaders, to seek another term, to conclude all the good work that we started.
We have seen a number of ministers aspiring for one office or the other, but they are yet to resign. Is this not a violation of the electoral law?
And I'm sure the ministers are known, so you ask them directly. So the position of the law is clear. So, and the party has its position on it. So there are ministers, I think about 2 or 3, that have already obtained forms. So you ask them why they have chosen not to resign.
We saw governors issue directives. Why is it not happening at the federal level?
Directives have already been issued in many of the states, to members of the State Executive Council or other political office holders to comply with the law. So if they choose not to, probably you should ask the secretaries to the federal government and the ministers concerned.
It's another May Day. Do you think Nigerian workers have reason to celebrate in view of the many challenges confronting the nation?
Well, the situation generally, globally, our economic situation is tough. Nigeria, being part of the global village, is not exempted from the situation, the condition. But I know that all hands are on deck to address the problem. And I'm sure, by the grace of God, things will get better. I can only advise them to keep hope alive, So tough time doesn't last, but tough people do.
Universities are shut as a result of the ASUU strike. How long can Nigeria continue on this part?
Well, I think the issue of ASUU strike is becoming a national embarrassment. I will urge the leadership of ASUU to probably look at, it's time for them to review their strategy. You know, I mean, over time, yes, their demands are legitimate. There's no doubt about it. But over time, they've adopted the strategy, the strike strategy, to fight their cause. And it's like, it's the students, the poor students, you know, and their parents that are bearing the brunt, you know. I will, in my own personal opinion, I will advise that there is need for a change of strategy, you know, in fighting their cause. And on the part of the government, I will urge the federal government, in the interest of our poor children, you know, I mean, who are the victims of this disagreement, prolonged disagreement between the ASUU, and the government, you know, to find a way out of the situation, you know, such that our children do not continue to suffer, you know, at home. And also that they are not growing younger, you know. I mean, it's becoming embarrassing that students only know the time they enter the university. They are never sure of when they will graduate. I mean, and that's most unfortunate, you know.
You spoke of a new strategy, but labor unions have consistently said strike remains the only language the government understands.
But the question is, they have adopted that strategy over the years, and it doesn't seem to be working, you know. So, I mean, I'm not justifying, you know, government's inability to resolve the issue, but then, I mean, those who bear the brunt of the whole disagreement, you know, are the students and their parents, you know. So that calls for a review of strategy.
What other strategy would you recommend?
Dialogue. Probably I mean, for as long as the students are not kept out of the campus, you know, and they are not denied, you know, the precious time that they are supposed to use, you know, studying, you know. So it's a very tough decision to really take, you know. It's very tough, because I know that the union will be saying that, look, with the poor facilities, you know, how do they give their best, you know, to the students? But I still feel that there can still be a way around it.
The Nigerian Labour Congress has also threatened a nationwide strike in support of ASUU. Could that be the solution?
It's the same thing. It boils down to the same thing, you know. Strike. I don't think it's in the best interest of everybody at the end of the day, because look, the system, the whole essence of the ASUU struggle is to improve the system. But in the process of improving the system, adopting strike will further worsen the situation, that by the time you probably call off the strike, this situation will be worse than when you started, you know. So if you can find a way around it such that the situation does not degenerate further, you know, I mean, and become more complex, to resolve.
And the government says it is invoking no work, no pay rule.
I think the government should be reconciliatory, in handling the matter, So as one is appealing to ASU to reconsider the strategy, or to consider other strategies other than strike. At the same time, I think the government should also toe the path of reconciliation,